Hey guys, Wayback Rewind here. I'm here again with my Panasonic FZ300 and I'm going to look at some of its more advanced features here. Went through the advanced user guide and pulled out some of the things that you may not have been aware of. Coming up next, here on Wayback Rewind. So there's a basic owner's manual printed in here. If you want the detailed owner's manual, I believe it's on this DVD. And of course, you can download it directly from Panasonic. They had internet in 2015, not sure why. They put it on DVD. Nowadays, they wouldn't give you that. I don't think I've ever even taken this disc out of here to see what's in there. And now I've downloaded all 363 pages of the detailed owner's manual, and after a brief introduction, I'm going to go over some of the more advanced features of the FZ300. So on the left side of the camera, we have a microphone jack, and there's a tiny speaker here. There is no headphone jack. The entire lens is one solid piece. There are no rings. The lens does not rotate in any way. However, there is a wide and tight switch here. There is a switch here that allows you to adjust the zoom, and there's a wheel which can be assigned to different functions. And there's an autofocus button here. The right hand side of the camera, there's a weather sealed door with a jack for a remote, a micro HDMI, and a proprietary AV out / digital. Here's where the battery and the SD card live, under this weather sealed door. Unfortunately, you have to remove this from the tripod if it's on a tripod to get to either one of those. That's a bit inconvenient. The screen can rotate and articulate and fold back upon itself. A couple of things I want to highlight here, like for example, drive mode. When you press this down, you can switch between single, which is kind of your default. You can go into burst, and you have several different options for burst. 4K photo burst, it's just going to take those 8 megapixel stills for as long as you hold down the lens. Bracket, which will basically take 3 pictures, bracketing your exposure. And self timer. This is kind of how you turn that off. When I first bought this camera, I went into like 4K photo burst. That's going to just like take like a ton of pictures. Like I said, you hold this down, and it will take those photos for as long as you hold that button down until it fills up the memory, runs down the battery, or you get to 29 minutes and 59 seconds. So if you grew up in the era of those film cameras like this one over here, the ability to take 30 pictures a second is kind of crazy. And the other thing I wanted to show you is this hot shoe. It does have a hot shoe. I did buy this flash. I'll be honest and tell you, I have never in life gotten this flash to work right. It has like 4 different modes on here. It didn't flash, of course. I think I've tried it in every combination known to man. I can't get it to work. My recommendation is to not buy the kit. Just get the camera and that's all you need. And buy whatever else you need, just buy it separately. Get a better deal on it. This switch controls the autofocus mode. There are 3 different modes basically. MF is for manual focus. AFC is for continuous autofocus. AFS and AFF are for single and flexible autofocus. It's kind of confusing, but depending on which mode the camera is in, it will determine whether you're focusing a single time, multiple times, or continuously, or not at all in manual. The mode switch up here determines what mode you're in. IA is for intelligent auto. P is for program mode. A is aperture priority. S is shuttle priority. M is full manual. This is movie mode. This is for custom program. Panoramic, scene mode, and creative mode. Depending on how you've got the camera set up, you may just put it in automatic, intelligent auto, and just leave it there forever. But as you get more experienced and more advanced, you might go into some of these aperture and shutter priorities or some other program mode. But basically you start from auto and then progress from there. Movie mode you can put there, and then this switch operates the movie mode, but you have a dedicated movie switch here, so not really sure if you really need that, but you can always just shoot movie mode and take stills at the same time. So one of my complaints in part 1 of this video was the lack of any ability to plug this camera in and use an AC adapter, only to find out there is an optional AC adapter and DC coupler. So of course I had to buy one. And this is me hooking it up for the first time ever and not even realizing previously that such an adapter existed. So like a lot of people, I bought this camera, I put it in auto, and I've been using it that way for 8 years and I never looked back. But here I am trying to show off some of the advanced features, and I want to tell you the menus on this camera can be very confusing. So you've got your basic menu there for stills and for motion, custom settings, regular setup, and playback. So even though this camera shoots video, even though I bought it to shoot video, it's primarily a still camera. I have 7 pages of options for stills, 6 pages for motion. So okay, so it's not a big difference. But there really are not that many features for motion. So I'm going to run through the philosophy behind the menus. I'm not going to go through every option because that would take forever. But I'm just going to show you the setup of the menu system and why it's so confusing. Because basically you have 2 auto modes. You have Intelligent Auto and Intelligent Auto Plus. The difference is Intelligent Auto Plus allows you to tweak some of the things. Intelligent Auto is just everything auto. That's kind of how I used this camera initially. Just put everything in Intelligent Auto, or you can put in Intelligent Auto Plus. You can put this thing over in M. With everything in manual, okay, I turn this dial. Now I'm adjusting shutter. I push F1. Now I'm adjusting iris. So I can adjust iris, push F1, adjusting shutter. Now I have a manual camera. Beautiful. Some of the other things are a little more obvious. For example, AFS versus AFF. I can only adjust that if I'm in AFS mode. When I'm in that mode or not is whether or not I can select that mode. So that's pretty obvious. And some other things are fairly obvious, like my panorama settings will only work if I'm in panorama mode. So right now they're not being offered to me, but if I go into panorama mode, my panorama settings are now available to me now that I'm in panorama mode. I can do direction, picture size, whatnot. So some of these make sense. Some are a little less obvious. So let me go back to program mode, like iHDR. iHDR is not available. Well, iHDR only works in auto mode. So when I go into auto mode, iHDR is available. Go back to program mode. iHDR is not available. Now, some are completely unfathomable. HDR is supposed to work in any of the PASM, program, aperture, shutter, or manual modes. HDR is supposed to be available, but I cannot make it available in any of those modes. I have no idea why. According to the manual, as long as stop motion animation is set to off, which it is, and if time lapse shot, if I'm not in the middle of a time lapse, which I am not, it should be available. I have no idea why it isn't available. The only way I can make it available is to go into custom mode. And once I go into custom mode and go into my settings, custom mode pretty much gives me everything. Now HDR is available. I have no idea. The manual doesn't cover that scenario. I don't completely understand it. All I can say is if there's a feature that's not available, go into custom mode. Custom mode pretty much gives you everything. I have a tendency to want to just turn everything on. With this camera, you don't want to do that, because you turn everything on and suddenly you've killed some other mode that you may want to use, and then you can't figure out why. So here I am in the settings for video mode. There are 6 pages. Most of them are kind of useless, because I come in here, page 1, just format, pretty obvious. I'm going to set that to 4K. Page 2, high-speed video is unavailable because that only works in lower resolution, doesn't work in 4K. Exposure mode, have no idea why that's grayed out. It should work in any of the P, A, S, and M modes, but it is not. So this is why this camera can be very frustrating. You have to understand all the subtleties and nuances of the menu system. Half of what you might want to use is grayed out. Dynamic, can't do it. Level shot, nope. Intelligent zoom. Well, at least it did give me intelligent zoom. I can turn that on. Digital zoom, I can turn that on. I go back here. I now have up to 2400 zoom, which is a crazy amount of zoom. But I can get up to 4x on digital intelligent zoom. I can't even focus it in here, it's too small. Flicker decrease. If I'm going to shoot a TV screen or something, I can put that on 60. Then I have 2 pages of mic settings. So those are the motion settings. They're pretty self-explanatory. It's so frustrating with this camera when you see a setting for something you want to use and then you can't figure out how to do it. Silent operation, grayed out, have no idea why. So the 300 plus page manual doesn't even explain everything you need to know to completely understand these menus. All I can say is, If you want to get off the auto settings and go to manual and start playing with this camera, you just have to play with it and use it to the best of your ability and do the best you can. So at this point in the video, I've been talking for a long time, and I know a lot of you just want to see the video of how this camera shoots. I bought this primarily as a video camera, so I'm going to focus on the videos that I took with it and give you some sample footage right now instead of making you come back and wait for a second video of sample footage. So I'm going to share that with you right now, and then when that's over, I'll wrap it up here on Wayback Rewind. So there you have it, the Panasonic Lumix FZ300 advanced point and shoot bridge camera with a ridiculously long zoom lens. Still sold brand new here in the present day. Half the price of a camcorder if you're shooting 4K 30 video. If 4K 30 is good enough, 30p, this could be your camera. If you found this helpful, please like or subscribe to my channel, and thanks for watching.